So, we gonna talk about Joe Flacco today.
I don't want to talk about Joe Flacco.
I think we're gonna have to talk about Joe Flacco. Oh my God, we did it!
I don't want to hear it from a guy who's half his fan base is Swifties. Broncos country, let's cry.
Back to the Super Bowl. Why'd they put the trash cans next to the Cowboys helmet?
You could take it and shove it up your...
Peace!
What I really need to be hearing from you, though, is thank you.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the Week 4 Progress Report edition of the Trajan Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler, Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, and you may have noticed, Kansas City Royals fanatic here, taking down the Baltimore Orioles 2-0. You know, it's pretty cool when two Kansas City teams sweep the Baltimore teams in two different playoffs, isn't it? You were right. You were right. It's like anyone can sweep the Ravens. It's just not that hard.
It's not that hard. I mean, who cares about an MVP?
There you go. Yes, absolutely outstanding performance by the Royals. Wish you all the best against the New York Yankees. Going to be a tough series, but hey, if they play like they did against Baltimore, they got a shot. They got a shot. But we're not talking about baseball today. We are talking about some football. And there was some good football. There was some bad football. There was some Super Bowl football. And there was some trash football. And we're going to cover all of the bases here today because it is the return of the Tier Maker Progress Report. And I am super excited about this one. Who's trash? Who's blah? Who's meh? Who's a playoff contender? And who is dreaming about the Super Bowl? We're going to find out together here in just a moment. But first things first, we're going to get to something very, very fun here too. It's always good when you go to a division rival's home and just absolutely smack them around, right? So let's hear it, Kingdom. How about those Chiefs? Rush.
Absolutely smack him around. Huh?
Of course. Of course, it couldn't just be all sunshine and rainbows, right? God dang it. Oh, man. Well, the Chargers made a huge mistake. They decided to go up 10-0, which, as we all know, if you go up 10-0 against Kansas City, you're going to have a bad time. And the Chargers eventually did have a bad time, but it was the Chiefs that had a bad time to start off the game. First of all, Carson Steele, right after a big reception to Travis Kelce, fumbles the ball. Chargers get the ball back. They drive down the field, and they get a touchdown. And then the first play from scrimmage, the very next drive, Patrick Mahomes throws an interception, overthrows his receiver, and then trying to stop the bleeding here, tries to make a tackle. Rashee Rice hustles down and actually strips the ball from the corner that intercepted it. Unfortunately, the Chargers recovered it, and worst of all, Mahomes, in making the tackle, runs into Rashee Rice's knee. They still have not confirmed if it's torn ACL or not. They did officially put him on IR as of today because there was some swelling there, but he will be going in for additional tests next week. So obviously it's not going to be one of those deals where he's going to be ready in like a month or so. It's something like this, even if it did avoid the worst case scenario, it's going to be a few months before he's ready to probably come back onto the field. So, of course, you lose wide receiver 1, you lose wide receiver 2 before the season even starts. So, well, I guess it's 2022 Kansas City Chiefs wideouts again, which, hey, I liked how that season ended. So, let's see if Mahomes can pull that off too. But it wasn't all doom and gloom because there was a return this past week, and I was very excited to see him. He traded in his number 27 for number 29. We had Kareem Hunt back in the lineup for Kansas City, and he ended up with 69 yards, longest 10 yards, averaged 4.9 per carry. Not too bad for a return after not being on the team for, let's see, that'd be 6 years now. 2018 was his last year. Also received 16 yards passing, 85 yards from scrimmage. I think you had a thought there, Trajan. What was your question there?
I was just trying to remember why he left the team.
Yeah, statute of limitations. God dang. I'm never prepared for that anytime. Alrighty. Well, and obviously the other big story, Travis Kelce, big game for him. 89 yards on 7 receptions, his longest for 38, which that one was, of course, followed by the fumble from Carson Steele. Xavier Worthy, big touchdown play from him. 54-yard reception. He was even interfered, and he still caught it and got the touchdown. That was what we were waiting for with Xavier Worthy. Creating separation, getting down the field, and if Mahomes has a clean pocket, he's got the arm strength. He'll get it to you in stride, and certainly he did. That was what ultimately brought them back into the game. And then Samaje Perine, after a long drive, gets it into the end zone, takes the lead, and the Chiefs defense keeps them at bay the whole time. We had a total of 2 sacks of the day, both coming from the CEO of Sack Nation, Stone Cold Chris Jones. Nick Bolton had himself a decent game. 5 total tackles for him, 4 solo. The leading tackler this week, though, was number 23, Drew Tranquil. I say that again, Chargers fans. Drew Tranquil. Remember that guy? The guy you let go because you didn't think he was worth the money? I think he's worth a little something now, don't you think? But yeah, obviously, it had to be a gutsy win because of the injury to Rashee Rice. And the defense, obviously, the offense was backpedaling. They didn't do a great job, but the defense did what they needed to do, and they kept the Chargers off the board for 3/4 of the game, including holding one of the top rushers in the league, J.K. Dobbins, to only 32 yards on the day. And that's been the story of the Chiefs defense this year. Years past, their secondary's been awesome, but it was always the rushing defense that was struggling. And this year, the rushing defense has been doing fantastic, and they're going to have to continue to do so, especially coming up on Monday night against Alvin Kamara. So that'll be one of the interesting things to look out for when that matchup happens here.
Yeah, no, definitely. It'd be interesting to see how this matchup is, because you've been kind of barely getting by there. But, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm. That's 4-0. 4-0, man. It doesn't matter how. They don't ask how. They only ask how many.
But it's very rich to hear CEO of Sack Nation. I mean, come on. I mean, really? 78.5 career sacks makes you CEO of Sack Nation?
Well, I'm sure you're about to tell me all about the sacks that T.J. Watt had this week, right?
Yeah, he didn't have one. He did not have one. But, I mean, if we're going by imaginary sacks, he probably had several. I saw the holding calls. Anyways.
Oh man, I've been waiting for this too. Crank it up. Let's go, baby. I was working on it before we started recording here too, because the image wouldn't load, so I had to do it all from scratch too. But ladies and gentlemen, it took 4 weeks, but it is finally back. It is the first edition of this year's I Don't Want to Talk About It. So Trajan, the floor is yours. Go ahead and start talking about it. The Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was supposed to be you, damn it. It was supposed to be you. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, we did a good job of beating the Chargers.
Unnecessary loudness.
Here I am. Okay, well, I guess we'll talk about this game that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's just one loss. One loss of 3 this year. Anyways, we started out very poorly. We spotted, 14 points in the first half. We got a last-minute field goal. So going into the halftime, it's 17-3. Should have had more points. A certain someone decided to just hold the ball with one hand. Pickens there. But it is what it is. Going into the second half, we had a valiant effort. We scored 21 points in a half. That's pretty good compared to the last few years. Justin Fields, I mean, he did pretty much all he could do. 34 attempts, 22 completions, 312 yards, 1 touchdown. He got 2 on the ground as well, 10 carries, 55 yards. He was literally all of our offense. Sack of shame is Najee Harris. 13 attempts for 19 yards. Even got the Indianapolis Colts saying he's soft. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Cordell Patterson, he came in and he was starting to get some chunk yards. I believe the biggest thing was we needed to attack the Colts defense there and go fast. Najee Harris was not hitting the holes as fast as he probably should, and Patterson, he just runs like a freight train through there, but he got injured. So, of course, he came out. George Pickens, besides that fumble, pretty good game. 7 receptions, 113 yards. Pat Freiermuth got a touchdown, the only throwing touchdown. 5 receptions, 57 yards. As you alluded to, the defense did not do its job. This historic defense disappointed. I mean, 14 points, giving up 2 touchdowns to, I can't believe I'm saying this freaking name, in 2024, Joe Flacco. Who, he didn't kill us, but he did enough. The biggest story is we did not stop the ground game. We did not stop Jonathan Taylor. He got 21 carries, 88 yards. Anthony Richardson, why they kept on rushing him, why he rushed after he already got injured.
Oh my God.
And then he rushed again. It's like, dude, what are you doing? And then he did a late slide.
Oh, do you hear the
and
announcer?
Mika was like, what were you doing?
Do you hear the announcers?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, even the announcers were saying, it's like, I can't believe they just did that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is the Colts. They like to kill their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that in mind. The most disappointing thing I will say about Justin Fields is the freaking center to QB exchange. I don't know if it's all on the center. I don't know if it's all on Justin Fields. I don't know if it's on both of them. But they need to clean it up. We had a chance. We were in field goal, getting close. I mean, the last drive.
Yeah.
There, and we lost it. Another thing on Justin Fields is he took a sack when we could not afford the sack. We were in field goal range. He kept running backwards, and then all of a sudden we're out of field goal range. He could have thrown it away. He was out of the passing box.
Trying to do too much.
Yep, and it cost us the game. We cost us at least 10 points there. So it's one of those things that I think we shot ourselves in the foot more than the Colts just destroying us.
But the more things change, the more they stay the same. Joe Flacco, he didn't have to be perfect. He did just enough.
Just freaking enough.
I mean, yeah, I hate to say it's like it's the Steeler way in something like this, but there's always that game where it's like, by all metrics, the Steelers should have had the advantage, offensively. Should have definitely had the defensive advantage too, but just for one reason or another, something wasn't clicking, and it's even crazier the fact that it's like, Joe Flacco, is a backup quarterback, but he could be a starter for most teams in this league. But yeah, the Anthony Richardson dying on the field for the Colts' sins, that was needless. But that's the deal. And you're right, you can't put this all on Joe Flacco. Obviously, having Jonathan Taylor on your team is going to open up some options for you too. And he didn't have 100 yards rushing, but he did have 100 yards from scrimmage, so that was still a solid day from him too. And you honestly can't put everything on T.J. Watt or Hayward the whole time. You said Patterson, is Hayward injured as well, or did I?
He's fighting injury. It was his
Okay.
arm.
Okay, I thought I read that somewhere, but I didn't know what the specifics were.
But I will say our offensive line is battered right now.
You just lost
All of
someone.
our
You just lost someone for the year, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, we've lost a lot of people for the year. So let me get the list here. Oh gosh, where is it? I had it up here and now I lost it.
Gotcha.
Anyways, most of our offensive line is either rookies.
You can have it pulled up, and when we get to the Steelers here in a minute, you can talk about it a little bit if you want to. So, but while you're doing that, I guess now is a good time, if any, to flip to the third segment of today's episode, and that is the progress report tier maker. And as you can see, it is empty now, but it's not going to take long. We're going to be filling up the spots very, very quickly here too. And I think it is best to start with a team that was just on the outside looking in of the Super Bowl the previous year. It is the Detroit Lions, who I believe are, almost all but a lock to being a playoff contender for this year. They had a hell of a game against Seattle last week. Jared Goff, perfect game. 18 of 18 on passing. And it was so perfect that the coach didn't even notice and didn't even give him a game ball in the locker room. But he did give him one in practice the next day. So good on you, Dan Campbell. At least you didn't leave him hanging forever. But the Lions, they had a little bit of a stumble there in the middle, but I think they're well on their way to being the AFC North representative this year. Although there's another team that might be making a case for that. So, but as it stands, I like Lions as a playoff contender.
All right, who's the next team? Because my whole thing just reset.
Well, it is your friends from the Baltimore area, and also my friends from the Baltimore area. It's the Baltimore Ravens. What you got for them?
I'm gonna go meh. Even though that win,
really, wow, they dominated
even
though.
with that win,
oh man,
it was. I don't know. It almost seemed like we'll throw them to a playoff team.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, wait a minute, they just dominated.
I'm not convinced on that win, though.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
Convinced. It is all Derrick Henry. God help them if anything happens to Derrick Henry this season.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That is definitely a major contributor on there too. But I will give you this. I believe this team does deserve to be in meh, especially considering they played the New York Giants this past Thursday, and there was, no one probably believed that the Giants were going to pull it out, but the fact that they kept them in it the whole time, Cowboys, you've got some explaining to do. You're going meh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to facing them. Hopefully we can beat them.
Absolutely.
I think most of America supports the Steelers' claim in beating the Cowboys.
I can't say I disagree with that.
All right, this next team, the Eagles. I think they're a meh. I think they're a meh team this year. Saquon's doing great, but they got a lot of question marks too.
Saquon's the sole reason they're competitive right now, I think. It's definitely not Hurts, and it's definitely not Sirianni. So
Hurts is looking questionable.
He is. I think I agree with you on that. Oh man, it's it's taking every bit of power of me to not put this team as trash. But the fact that the Tua situation too, I'll keep the Dolphins at bleh right now. If you lose to the Titans, you really should be considered trash. But unfortunately, the
Mason Rudolph Titans.
Yeah, exactly. The circumstances surrounding it too, Dolphins, I'll give you a pass this time. You're only bleh, but yeah,
next week maybe trash.
Next week trash. Yeah, 4 weeks from now, it'll probably be down in the basement there too, especially if you trade away Tyreek Hill. Oof.
Well, so we go from the Dolphins to a team on the rise and the Bucks. Who would have thought after Tom Brady left? I thought they were just going to go down to the basement, spend a few years there, and maybe pop up again in the next 5-6 years. But Baker Mayfield has them as a playoff team.
He's definitely not blending in, is he?
He's not blending in.
He's standing out, isn't he? I hear you that. Nope, I agree with that. All right, this next one's interesting because boy, oh, boy, howdy, is the injury bug hit this team pretty hard. Actually, these next two teams pretty hard. I've got the San Francisco 49ers, and as much as I would like to put them as a playoff contender, just the way the injuries have been going right now too, I think they're stuck at meh right now, and
Ooh, you're being generous.
I'm wondering if this next team might be in the same boat, honestly.
I mean, considering that the 49ers blew the lead against the Rams, I would almost say Niners bleh and 49ers meh, but we'll just put them at the same level. It's too early to call.
I agree. That's about my reasoning for it too. It's like both teams injured to hell, and then yeah, obviously the Rams. I'd put the Rams ahead of the 49ers if there was a tier in between, but I don't think they're quite ready to be a playoff contender, but there's still a lot of games left to be played. Let's see who comes back stronger from injury and plays up to their full potential. Now we've got the team that took your team down this past week, the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're close. But that win against the Steelers, that keeps them away from the bleh. I got them in the meh territory. They may be on the outside looking in when it comes to playoffs, but, you know, from what we're seeing so far, we'll see if Joe Flacco is the starter for the rest of the year. But Anthony Richardson, you know, almost dying on the field, that definitely doesn't help things either.
All right, the next team, we got the Browns. And I'm gonna say they're trash.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I can't disagree. Oh man. Alrighty. Well, now we're gonna have some fun with this, and I'm gonna take the next two teams here for a couple reasons. So first things first, you've got the Buffalo Bills, who have you know, some would say might have been the most gritty 3-0 team going into the season, going into week 4. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Ravens just absolutely demolished them. However, just the way the Bills have been, and the way Josh Allen has been playing, without Stephon Diggs, and, you know, there's a lot of question marks around that too, with a defense that's starting from scratch, basically. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe I'm saying this, especially for the next team I'm going to be talking about too. As of right now, the Bills appear to be the most complete team. I've got them as my Super Bowl contender, and I know it's just blowing my mind right now, considering my team is 4-0. But I'll get to the reason why in just a second here. But yes, the Bills seem like the most complete team right now. Barring the loss to the Ravens, who are a good team as well. The Ravens just took a minute to find their footing. Buffalo right now, that's the team I least want to meet in the playoffs. Which is crazy to think because the Chiefs have won the last 3 times. But right now, there's just something about this Bills team. I just can't explain it, but they just seem to be firing, you know, all cylinders. We'll revisit this on week 8. Again, halfway through the season, but man, I just don't know. The Bills, they seem like they're the team to beat right now in the AFC. Which brings me to my team, the Kansas City Chiefs. And you kind of brought this up too, and you know, I'm no fool. You know, I'm not delusional. The Chiefs are 4-0, and great teams find ways to win, and they've had to find very creative ways to win. Because they don't look like they're firing on all cylinders. We're out wide receiver 1. We're out wide receiver 2. We're out running back number 1. It's our defense that's carrying this team right now. Pat Mahomes is not looking his best. Obviously, the Chiefs, I believe, will be the front runners in the AFC West. That goes without saying. But right now, comparing the Bills to the Chiefs, I hate to say it, but it's advantage Bills. That's just the way things have been right now. Even with the loss the Bills suffered, man, I am, you know, I would be nervous to play the Bills right now if the playoffs started today. So, Like I
I
said,
just didn't realize refs were creative ways to win.
God take it.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. But yes, as much as I would love to just rub it in everyone's face, last undefeated team in the AFC. Like I said, I'm not delusional. I'm no fool. The records are telling very interesting stories here. So there you go. That's me humbling myself this time around. We'll see come week 8 where we stand. But yeah, we're leaving it up to you now. Where do you put the Pittsburgh Steelers? We've already got one AFC North as playoff contender.
So, whereas I'm ashamed of you, Josh. At least before you had some respectability and believing in your team.
I did say I didn't believe him. I didn't say I didn't believe in him.
This is almost like when you said that you didn't think you could beat the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
This is about as bad.
We're on year 7 of this now.
Anyways, I have full faith in my team. This was just a hiccup. This was a get right game. This was waking up from our 3-0 haze, and we saw a massive pouring of offense there. I think we're Super Bowl contenders. Okay.
Wait a minute now. Still playoff. With that defense, you probably are. As long as that defense doesn't keep doing what they did against the Colts.
We are a little banged up right now.
Yes.
Even on defense. So we lost Corey Trice, which I was super hyped about. He's on IR. We've lost some guy. Mm-hmm. But we will get better. We will get better.
You shall rebuild, right?
We shall rebuild.
All right.
So, are we talking about the next Super Bowl favorite?
I believe so, actually. Speaking of rebuilding, what a rebuild in such a short amount of time. You lose your starting quarterback, your quarterback of the future, J.J. McCarthy, and then from the ashes, like a phoenix, rises the most Darnold of Sams. And he leads this team to the promised land of 4-0 in the NFC. And as of right now, as far as the rest of the NFC, I really don't see anyone. I mean, you could probably throw the Lions in there, but the rest of the NFC is kind of just tripping over themselves, it seems like.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everyone thought the Bears were going to do so great with a rookie quarterback.
I think they're starting to figure it out, but they're still a ways away.
They're starting to figure it out, but look at the teams they're playing.
True.
It's nothing to get excited about. And then, I mean, Packers, they're injured. Mm-hmm. They got destroyed early on by the Vikings. Mm-hmm. They made a valiant effort to come back, but there's a lot of question marks there. Yeah, I just don't know. I think the Vikes might be it. With all these injuries this season. Especially, I mean, the NFC is more banged up than the AFC.
Probably so. I think you're right about that. Just look at the NFC West alone right now. It's freaking insane. Alrighty, now we move on to the AFC West, starting with the Las Vegas Raiders, who are currently sitting at a 2-2 record, following a close win to the Cleveland Browns. I've got them as blah right now. They're not looking too great. I think they make too many business decisions here.
Too many business decisions. Like trading their star wide receiver.
Exactly.
Or reportedly wanting to trade.
Reportedly, exactly. And actually, I'm going to take a second one here, too. The Denver Broncos, I'm going to say they're meh. I wanted to put them as blah, but, hey, Bo Nix and that defense, they're not terrible. They're not great. If they lose to the Raiders, I think that automatically puts them back down into blah territory. So we'll see how that goes this coming weekend when they face each other. So, but all right, on to a couple AFC South teams, and I'll let you take both of these. Actually, we've got the Texans and the Jaguars.
Well, the Texans, I'm still going to say they are a playoff team. They're the best in their division. I think maybe the Colts come back up, but I'm pretty sure the Texans are going to get that. The Jags, however, they're probably the worst team in the NFL right now.
If there was a category beneath trash, that's probably where they would belong, honestly.
We should just make a new category, the Jags.
The Jags, right? I don't think I can fit another one on my screen here, but but yes, I have no arguments with that at all. I knew that was going to be a pretty quick decision too. So
I mean, after the pounding they took versus the Bills, I don't know how they come back from it this season. It's a tanking season.
It has to be now, and it might be the last season for Doug Peterson at this point too.
It might be the last season for Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
They just paid him, though, too.
Oh, that's right. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. All right. Well, as it stands right now, we mentioned the 49ers hurt. The Rams hurt. So I guess that only leaves one option for the Seahawks. They stand ahead above the rest right now. They're 3-1. They're leading their division. Got to see them at playoff contender at this moment. Which brings us now on to the Green Bay Packers. We've already talked about two other teams in the NFC North.
Green Bay Packers. They were a playoff team last year.
They were.
They're a meh team this year. I'm going to say meh.
See, when they finally get smart and realize that Malik Willis is their true starting quarterback, then they'll be a playoff contender. But
that would be so hilarious if first year they pay Love, bust.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to enjoy this one because, man, did I really wish for the Panthers to beat this team. But since the Bengals finally got their first win of the year, I'll put them at blah for now. But if they lose 3 of the next 4 of their games, they're going right back down next to the Browns. I think the Bengals are better than the Browns, definitely better than the Jaguars, but I don't think they're much better than the Dolphins or Raiders at this moment. Considering that the Panthers actually kept it pretty close. And it was a 4th and goal stop by the Bengals. That was the biggest difference of them losing and going 0-4.
I think that if we had another Bengals logo that said defense under it, that would be trash.
That would be trash. Absolutely. It's like the barstool tier makers where they have random things thrown in there too.
I just think it's rich that the Bengals got under your skin more than my skin. I mean, we've been dealing with these efforts for quite some time.
These efforts.
We just know who they are. You're getting all riled up over a nobody.
Oh, man.
But we got a confusing team.
Yeah.
Because at one moment, they look like world beaters.
Killed the Cowboys.
Destroyed the Cowboys, which, I mean, at this point doesn't look too hard to do. I don't want that clip.
Oh, boy.
Take it out.
All right. 42-16. Okay.
But we already got a team from the NFC South up there. I think they're meh.
Okay.
I think that they shot out of the gate. They got an easy target with the Panthers. Then they ran all over the Dallas Cowboys, which who hasn't been running all over the Cowboys? I mean, the Giants almost look like they're going to win that game. And the Giants haven't beat the Cowboys since, what?
A long time.
18 or something like that?
A long time, yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I was going to say I was probably thinking the Saints would be more bleh because the next team, the Falcons, that beat them, albeit by a last-second field goal, I've got the Falcons at meh right now. They did keep it very competitive against Kansas City. They did defeat the the Atlanta Falcons, which puts them ahead in their division and 1 game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as a matter of fact, they are playing each other as we speak, as we are recording right now. Last, I believe the score was 17-17. It was a tied game at halftime.
There's 24.
What's
24 to 17. Bucks are up.
Bucks are up. Okay, so there's still time. If the Falcons can take down the Buccaneers here, that would put them up in first place. So I guess we shall revisit this here in a few weeks and see how things shake out in the NFC South, which if any history's taught us anything about the NFC South, it's going to be anyone's division even up to week 14 this year, probably.
Yo, I'm fine with moving the stakes down to bleh if you really want to lose to a bleh team.
I see what you're trying to do. No takesies backsies.
All right, so we go from the Falcons to the Bears. And I don't know. This team just isn't there. I almost want to say they're bleh.
I think I'm right there with you on that for now.
I mean, Caleb Williams needs an offensive line before he looks meh.
Before he gets mid.
I mean, that's what it's going to take. I mean, rookie quarterbacks, their first year, especially high draft pick rookie quarterbacks, I mean, they're not all going to be Stroud.
Nope. Or Jaden Daniels, right?
But we got to remember, the Texans, yeah, they were a bad team, but they were competitive every single game before that. And they had a huge draft haul because the Browns wanted a pedophile.
That is correct. That is correct. Yep.
Bleh.
All right.
Bleh, bleh, bleh.
Bleh. Well, as much as I want to put the Chargers at bleh, I do respect the fact that they kept it close, even though they didn't score for 3 quarters there too. Chargers, meh, but it's a very rickety.
It's meh. A meh, meh.
It's a rickety meh. Which brings to the New York Giants. Probably don't need to spend too much time on that.
Trash.
I'll say bleh. They at least won a game. They beat the Browns, so they've earned that meh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I'm excited for this next team.
Absolutely. The Panthers here kept it very competitive with the Bengals, and you know what? For that alone, I'll keep it bleh. I'll keep it bleh for now. I don't want to put the Panthers as trash.
What team did they beat with Andy Dalton?
They
beat the Browns.
Yeah, they beat the Browns.
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Let me double check. I think yours right. They beat. No, they beat the Raiders. It was the Raiders.
Raiders, that's who it was.
Yeah, they beat the Raiders.
Yep, you're right. Raiders, Browns, same difference.
Exactly. Yeah, they beat the Raiders. So I should put the Raiders at trash. Not yet.
I don't mind.
Not yet. Soon. Soon, though. The way things are going, the business decisions being made, soon. All right, the Arizona Cardinals now. They sit same 1-3 as the Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr. done all right. I don't know.
They're bland.
I think so too. They got something maybe to show. We'll have to see. All right.
One game they win, they looked like world beaters, and then they haven't seen that team since.
Well, they had the Bills on the ropes on week 1, and then the Bills just came back and stole it right at the end. So that's we'll see. We shall revisit this. All right, and then we've got the Jaden Daniels-led Commanders, and although I did not pick them to win the division, I still think they have a chance. They can take that playoff spot, maybe.
They did my favorite moment of the season so far, destroying the Bengals.
Absolutely.
Not punting the whole time. That's worth it for me.
Absolutely.
Oh my, the Jets. The Jets.
Ugly game last week.
I mean, they got in the position to win. Clear game, probably they win. But the rain, I don't know. I'm saying bleh.
Saying bleh. I was going to say, if they would have beat the Broncos, probably be at meh. But they lost game-losing field goal. They missed it. Ugh. had a chance and they dropped it. I see bleh. And I also say bleh for the New England Patriots. They just who was their one win against here again? Oh yeah, the Bengals. And then of course ending with the Tennessee Titans. That there should be a special category for the Titans. It just says meme.
Yeah,
but we don't have that, and they may have won a game, but I think they're on the bottom next to the Jags.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, congratulations. You beat the Dolphins, who absolutely have no one, healthy left, So, yeah, you're trash. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. A lot of surprises. A lot of especially the Buffalo Bills, me picking them over the Chiefs at least this moment. Hey, come week 8, things may change. We'll have to see how that goes.
I have to ask you this. How does this work, though? The Bills and the Vikings are the most cursed franchise in the Super Bowl history. And we got them as favorites. Could you imagine that Super Bowl matchup? Some curse has to be broken.
Or
perpetual tie.
I mean the Superdome's pretty dilapidated. I mean
oh my gosh.
That stadium's pretty cursed after Katrina and all that, so I mean
it's just I don't know. I just don't know. This would be the craziest year if that is our Super Bowl matchup.
Oh, absolutely. And it would probably be the most watched, honestly, because everyone's going to see what is going to happen here.
I could get them.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, we'd love to hear from you folks below. Let us know down in the comments. Do you agree with our tier? Do you disagree? Who should be up? Who should be down? We'd love to hear from you here. But yes, that is the conclusion of our Week 4 Progress Report. As I mentioned earlier, the Chiefs are hosting the Saints on Monday Night Football. Trajan, who the Steelers got this week? They got the Cowboys, right?
We got them boys on Sunday Night Football.
Double prime time, baby.
Home game, Sunday Night Football. We don't typically lose Sunday Night Football, so we're probably going to lose.
Oh, boy. Oh,
boy.
Win. There you go. Go Steelers, go! Right, that's what it's all about. I don't have a terrible towel, but here you go. I'll throw a wave a flag around here for.
Could you lend us the refs this week?
Maybe, but they'll have to get on a plane immediately and go back to Arrowhead. So, alrighty. Well, that is our show this week. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you enjoyed this episode. Click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Tell all of your friends, and we will see you all next week for the Week 5 recap.